Hello and welcome to the Halo 4 Beginner's Guide. My name is BBK Dragoon. Yes, it is here. It is happening. This is the sequel to my Beginner's Guide that I did last year for Reach. Well, it's a new year and it's a new game and there is much to talk about. I spent a lot of time hyping this series over the past few months. Now that I'm actually producing it, I found that trying to put too much effort into editing kind of limited what I could say, what I could talk about. So, now that a few months have gone by, I've been playing the game quite a bit. I'm SR124, been posting it. I feel comfortable to hopefully offer some tips to the new player. That's right. So the objective of this video series is going to be helping the new player to improve. Advanced players might find some merit in viewing this video. I wouldn't say that it's ever bad to brush up on the fundamentals, but this is specifically geared towards the newer Halo players, people who are, perhaps returning to the series after a hiatus. You didn't play Reach, you stopped at 3, or maybe you're a Halo 2 player and you're coming back, or maybe you're brand new. Doesn't matter. I'm here to hopefully step-by-step walk you through what I consider to be the basic fundamentals and the beginner aspects of the guide. There'll be some special guests along the way. I'm going to start by talking about some loadouts and basic setups in the menu, some certain settings that are going to help you out as you progress and play, and then we'll talk about some tactics, some situational based things. First of all, as much as I do enjoy Halo 4, I despise the menu music. It's kind of obnoxious, and especially in-game, it's really obnoxious when you're trying to listen to footsteps at the end of a game and it starts playing music. That's the last thing you want. So I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to eliminate this. You'll need to have a hard drive plugged in that has an MP3 on it. Seems easy enough, right? That's what I got right here. And then you basically pick a song. If you don't have a hard drive, you can rip an MP3 to the Xbox hard drive with a CD, like an actual audio CD. And what I do is I just push play on the song. I have the volume turned all the way down. And then you just pause the song. And as you can hear, we got rid of it. It's kind of helpful. It's actually really helpful. So I would suggest doing that. That also allows you to listen to music while you play. That's sometimes fun. The next setup tip that I would offer is the vibration feature. I turn it off logically when you're playing this game. I don't really want to have my controller vibrating in my hands. I want to maintain accuracy. The game gives you all the cues on screen to let you know that you're being shot. You don't need the controller to vibrate to register that. But there are still some pro players, of course, who do play with vibration, and there are other pros who don't play with vibration. I recommend not playing with vibration. Give it a try. It'll feel weird at first, but I promise you, when you're sniping and you're getting shot by 3 or 4 people, you are going to be very appreciative to have that lack of a shaking controller in your hand, basically. So loadouts, there's a lot that can be said for this, but I'm just going to be straightforward and telling you what I think is effective and my experience playing the game thus far. My go-to class is a DMR. This is self-explanatory. The DMR is the most powerful assault rifle in Halo 4, hands down. Without scope knockout, if you don't know what that is, if you were in Reach or in Halo 3 or in Halo 2, when you were shooting somebody and you were scoped in on them and you were shot while you were scoped in, that shot would knock you out of scope. That doesn't happen in Halo 4. The DMR has a 3 times zoom scope and it kills faster than the BR. I want you guys to note that it is proven up close and at distance, the DMR kills faster than the BR. This gun is incredible. It's a big clip. It kind of, at the high level of Halo, it breaks the game, but I cannot recommend this gun enough to you all. I'm not putting the battle rifle down. It's a very good weapon, but it requires finesse that the DMR does not. Same is true with the light rifle. The light rifle can be powerful in situations, but ultimately, you'll need to make the choice for yourself, but the DMR is a very strong choice. So bolt shot for my secondary. Bolt shot is another one of those weapons that is, I would almost say, broken in how powerful it is. It's a mini shotgun in your pocket, and I'll show you how to use it here when we hop into the custom game, and I'll show you some of the techniques that I'm talking about with this setup. Magnum, great choice. It is a very solid weapon, and it fires quickly. You can get a faster kill with it than the DMR if you shoot correctly. Plasma pistol is also a pretty good choice too. The plasma pistol, though, is more for a big team setup, and I'll show you that in a second, because plasma in this game, it's not much. The lock-on isn't quite like it was in Reach, so it's really more useful in disabling vehicles. Grenades. Frag grenade is just phenomenal. I've noticed on most of the small maps, being able to bounce nades is important. The frags also explode much faster than the plasmas, and since there's that new on-screen indicator in Halo 4 that shows the grenade, it gives the enemy a whole lot more chance to escape a grenade, which is why I choose frag. Pulse nades are also a very good choice. They're more of a zoning tool, so I'd think about using them in objective game types, but for Slayer, I find them not to be super effective, because how often are you going to get somebody pushing directly into a pulse nade? You really have to have some finesse to use them. I'd recommend frag nades starting out. My armor ability, this one I definitely want to encourage you guys to choose whatever ability you guys want to use, basically. Experiment. This is the beauty of Halo 4. A lot of different maps, a lot of different game types, a lot of different styles of play, and one armor ability doesn't fit all. I've stuck with Thrust Pack because I find it incredibly useful for escapes. What it basically does, as it says, enables a powerful burst of movement offering the ability to evade or quickly close the gap. That evasion is unbelievable. You can go over edges in a heartbeat. When you're one shot and in a strafe battle, you can tap it, switch directions, and get like a ninja, or get just enough time to get that headshot in. I'd highly recommend Thruster Pack. It's ridiculously easy to escape with. It's a great, because you really want to be learning. When you're learning as a new player, you need to be staying alive. You need to not be dying, right? If you want to learn how to escape like easily, Thrust Pack, boom, right there. Promethean Vision, extremely powerful. It's a good way to learn the maps quickly if you haven't already learned them. It's also, I don't know, I don't consider it a very noble kind of armor ability or a very fun armor ability to use, but it is effective, obviously. Jetpack, incredible. If you play on the recon settings on the controller, it's insane. If you can move about the maps up and down, which most of the maps you can, Jetpack's great. I'd give it a try. Active Camouflage, I don't use it very often, and I don't find it to be too effective. I find it to be more of a grievance and annoyance than anything. Perhaps it can be used effectively, but it's not my favorite. Same goes for the regeneration field. Before they nerfed the shielding with a patch like a month or two ago, you could really abuse this armor ability. But now you can't do that anymore. Regen field is useful in team games if you have one player on the team using it as a support. But for the most part, if you're just playing alone, which I'm assuming most of you as a new player are, I'm not assuming you're coming into this with teammates, I wouldn't recommend it. Hologram, great way to bait an enemy out. And in this game, it can be very powerful. I'd give it a try. I don't use it, but I'd give it a try. Again, Hardlight Shield can be used effectively. I just don't like using it. It reminds me too much of Armor Lock. Whew, bad memories. Some people use the Auto Sentry. I don't recommend it. I've never seen it used to much avail. And here we are at the Tactical Package, which I have mobility. Simply put, at the high level of FPS games, if you can move around the map faster than your opponent, you have a massive advantage. Because Halo, you're timing power weapons, and you're timing drops, and you're timing power positions and spawns. If you can run anywhere you want faster than your opponent, you're basically setting yourself up to win. Halo is a very, very positional game. People just getting involved think it's a lot about the shooting and the gunplay, but for the most part, it's very tactical in the way that it's positional based. Height and power positions comprise a lot of Halo at the higher levels. Anyway, that's why I choose mobility. It's great. That's my opinion of it. Shielding, what shielding does, let me explain this to you guys. So, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to pick shielding because I want my shields to recharge a lot faster. Of course, I wanted to do that too. But what really happens is the period from when, let's say you're getting shot, pew, 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 the enemy breaks your shield, and you're then one shot. Your shields are broken. The time between your shields being broken and the time it takes to recharge, you know, where it's like boop, 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 like that whole, like, whatever, 5 to 10 seconds that it takes your shields to recharge, that time frame doesn't change with shielding. All shielding does is when the bar starts to fill up, like once it starts to refresh, it fills the bar up faster. So instead of going boom, it's like boom. It fills the bar up faster, but it does not change the amount of time from when your shield is broken to when it recharges, which is my main critique of this. Shielding, I think you can use it as a newer player, but I think you're sort of wasting your tactical spot. Fast track, you guys aren't going to have that because that's a specialization bonus. It just gives you more XP. Requisition, again, not going to have that. Wheelman, you're not going to have that. Resupply is great. Resupply is incredibly good. I'd use it. It's what's used in the Team Slayer Pro variant, or whatever they're calling the new Team Hardcore. I can't remember. They have some goofy name for it, but you guys get excited. Halo 4 is only refining. A big thanks out to Bravo for starting to really change this game, fix it. Team Sniper's coming up. That's going to be great. Our AA efficiency, I've used it. It's sometimes good, but it really depends on your play style. Grenadier, not used it. I've honestly not used it in all of my gameplay. And then firepower, no. You don't need it. The bolt shot, is good enough, right? And then finally for my support, upgrade dexterity, because this is a slaying class. This is a super slaying class. Wow. Nemesis marks enemy responsible for your last death. That sounds nasty. I'm going to put that on a class. That's from a specialization. Ammo is what I use for my big team battle class, and this is important to note here, guys. Ammo gives you not only more starting ammo in your guns, but when you get ordnance, it gives you more ammo for them. So if you got a rocket launcher, it gives you more rockets. If you got a sniper, more sniper bullets. It's exceptionally powerful in big team battle. Explosives, also very great. It alters the grenade performance, increasing the blast radius and decreasing the grenade damage received. Really good for King of the Hill, but they took that out. I'd consider that for team objective big time. Ordnance priority, yes, but I don't like Infinity Slayer, and I'm encouraging you guys, as newer players, to play in the Team Hardcore playlist. I know you're gonna be facing harder players, but you're gonna have less BS and less random stuff that you normally would have in Infinity Slayer, right? Stability. This one I'm excited to use because this is a specialization ability. This gets rid of the flinch, basically. So that one, we'll see if that one's powerful. I'm going to turn that on a class right after this and see what we can do. Gunner, no. Stealth, no, it doesn't matter because pretty much every game type has a radar, and you can't really use these in the pro variant, so I don't know what the point of it is. So there it is. I just ran you through a class. I'm sorry, you guys. It's very complicated, and you're going to have to experiment a lot. That took up a ton of time just right there. That is my DMR class. I have a BR class that's built up the exact same. This is my big team battle class right here. Note the armor ability is still thrust back, but I'm using ammo for the support upgrade. And also the secondary is a plasma pistol, so I can take out vehicles. I do use a light rifle class. It's also more big team battle because light rifle I find is good on the big maps and Dominion. So we're here on a drift. I'm using the class that I just talked about, the DMR, thruster, bolt shot, frag, mobility, and dexterity. Whew, that is a mouthful right here. And a drift is a really good map too, actually. It's beautiful, and it's good to talk about a lot of the techniques that I want to mention. So what is the DMR useful for? Everything. It is awkward in close-up fights, I will say this. When your opponent is within about this cone of range from you, about from me to the wall, that's 1, 2, 3, about 3 steps away, this is a difficult range to fight with the DMR. For whatever reason, the timing, the pace of the shots, I don't know, the FOV in this game, it's very dangerous. Also, the melee in this game leaves you vulnerable for a very long time. There's a lot of dead frames where you're just out of luck. Like, if you go in and if you whiff a melee, like, oof, miss, you've pretty much lost enough time to die. So this is where your bolt shot comes in this situation, and especially on a drift, you have all these really nice 90-degree corners. Let's say you have an enemy who's pushing up this walkway. We're standing right here. We're going to be right here, and the enemy's coming up the walkway, right? We're all worried. Enemy's got a really nice grenade bounce line on us. He could pop whatever nades he wants. So once the enemy throws, say, 1 or 2 nades, we're hiding around this corner. We don't want to fight this fight because he's like right in this range. He's in this cone of awkward range where the DMR's like, this is awkward. Bolt shot, charge it up. Either you pop around the corner and you try for the shot. That's a little bit more dangerous. Or you wait for him to come around the corner using your motion tracker. And that's when you just bring in a nice boom. And I can't even tell you guys how easy it is to use the bolt shot if you just sort of time your opponents and let them push into it. It's extremely powerful. Like, you can get kills from me to there. No joke. If all the pattern hits, you're gonna crush. Next, we need to talk about on-map ordnance. You need to hit the on-map ordnance pickups. That's basically plain and simple how it is. On each map, learn them, figure out how to use them. Sticky det is really good with height advantage. It's very hard to use if somebody's above you. So if the enemy is up here and I'm trying to use the sticky det, it's a very awkward shot, right? If I shoot this, it's, oh crud, you know, that's only going to get in there. If I shoot it at the floor, well, all he has to do is just cruise like right to here, and he's safe, right? We didn't even pop full of his shield. But look, if we have the top-down advantage, look how easy it is to hit a shot with the sticky det. Boom. Very easy if somebody was right there. You want to have height advantage is the demonstration I'm trying to give you with the sticky det. Otherwise, it's not a very useful weapon. Sword, extremely good in this game. As always with Halo games, want to be using it in conjunction with your sprint because it is powerful that way. But don't just run straight into an enemy, because if you're sprinting in this game, when you get shot, it stutters your movement speed, and you don't want that. So we're going to drop that because there is a scatter shot on this map, and the scatter shot is another great weapon. And it's the shotgun of the game, other than the actual shotgun, right? You can bounce these shots around corners. I've never had a whole lot of luck with that. Usually it's an inconsistent weapon, I found. If they're in this close range, then you're going to get an insta-kill on them. If you're in about that range on them, it's going to take 2, potentially 3 shots. If you're at this range, don't even, like, you want to put shots into them, but it's going to take a full clip to shoot them from this distance. For whatever reason, like, I don't know, the netcode and playing laggy games, this weapon can be absolutely destroyed by a bolt shot. I've had a lot of situations where I get killed by a bolt shot using this weapon. So do keep that in mind. Do be careful. Don't slouch on the needlers. Needlers are really good in this game, by the way. Actually, needler is incredible in this game. But the issue is you have to make sure your reticle, see the crosshairs right in the middle of the screen? They have to stay on the opponent. So if you're firing and I go off the opponent and my reticle turns blue, it no longer hits the opponent. The needles are lock-on based, so it has to be fired while the lock-on is initiated, which means you have to track the movement of the enemy. Keep that in mind. Always pick up the grenade pickups, and like I said, all of the power weapons are going to be different. That's a basic overview of the setup, and I will see you in the next section. Now that you've seen a basic loadout and a basic setup, let's real briefly talk about the controller and the sensitivity, and then we'll finally throw it into the more advanced section of the guide and get you guys grooving on some gameplay and some techniques. I use bumper jumper as my button layout. What this mainly does is it puts the jump button onto your left bumper. This allows you a huge advantage. From this, you can jump and retain control of the right stick. Basically, you don't have to move your thumb from the right stick over to the A button anytime you want to jump. During a gunfight, this is great because when you are, say, in a 1v1 with somebody, you're gunfighting, he's getting the advantage, you have the option to jump at the end of your strafe, throwing the opponent off for just long enough while you get the headshot. This is very useful. I would highly suggest bumper jumper if you're just starting out, but the default layout is also strong. I've used recon before too. When I first started playing the game, I was interested in recon because it allowed me to use armor abilities with that left bumper. If you use jetpack, this is very useful because you don't want to be pulling your thumb off the stick anytime you want to use an armor ability. With what I use, bump jump acts as the armor ability, right? So I can't use jetpack unless I'm going to claw, which is where you take your right index finger and push the face buttons with that. And I'm not very good at clawing. I've talked about controller sensitivity in an earlier video, so I'll link that below. I play 5. You also want to make sure that your crouch behavior is set to hold the crouch, otherwise you can't Gandhi hop, which is where you spam the crouch button while in a gunfight, while doing, attacking the opponent and jumping and trying to throw the opponent's shot off. It's important to change that because it's automatically set to toggle. Boom. And that is how you get from ring 2 up to ring 4. And then fall. And with that, we're going to conclude part 1 of the Beginner's Guide, Loadouts and Basic Settings. This is the driest part of the guide. I'm sorry that there's just not more about gameplay in here. Next part of the guide has MVito as our guest. I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. It's focused heavily on developing yourself as a gunfighter, right? Map movement, power weapon control, ordnance strategy, learning when to engage, zoning, all of these really important factors and concepts we're going to cover in the next episode of the guide, with MVito as our special guest. So I do want to say thank you to all of the guest directors who were featured in the gameplay today. Please check the links in the description below. They're all fantastic Halo players, and they have great channels too. You'll notice on screen right now a link to a doubles video, and what I'm doing in the Beginner's Guide, since a lot of the time has to be spent talking about the basics and the fundamentals and the concepts, I'm going to be attaching VODs, or videos on demand. I just kind of like that name. It's really just an unlisted video specifically for you all, the viewers of the Beginner's Guide. If you click the link, it's a full gameplay. I'm commentating it, trying to approach it from a very analytical standpoint, trying to notice my mistakes, try and talk through what's going on in the gameplay. It's a doubles pro on Haven with Captain Falcon. And what I'll be doing, like I said, on each of the episodes of the Beginner's Guide, uploading maybe 1, 2, and potentially 3 VODs accompanying each section of the guide. And what I'm trying to do is get VODs from a ton of different Halo directors, and that's how we'll be able to get into not only the mindset of just one player, but a lot of really good players. So thank you for watching. Check out the people in the descriptions below. Click the VOD if you're absolutely sick of Halo at this point. I understand it's a long video. Thank you all. Cheers. Enjoy the week, and I'll see you soon. Dragoon out.